my name is Diana Mendes, and I'm a corporate president with HNTB, where I serve to implement our firm's commitment to infrastructure and mobility equity. I also have the honor of being the president of the Mpact Board of Directors. It's quite emotional to be standing up before you here today because Philadelphia is where I began my career as a young planner. I graduated from the University of Pennsylvania and began my first job here at Wallace Roberts & Todd, for those of you who know WRT, which was the nirvana at the time for young planners. And so Philadelphia is really my field of dreams, because I remember walking down the streets of Philadelphia and hearing what we were taught in planning school, Daniel Burnham, make no little plans, right? And so here we are back in Philadelphia thinking about all of the things I used to dream about. How to make cities more livable, how to bring communities together, how to get integrated solutions that provide inclusive infrastructure for everyone. What can we do to spur economic development and vibrancy? How can we provide housing and jobs for all those who we serve? And so I struggled at the beginning of my career because as a planner, there's only so much you can do. I know that's like really hard to admit because, planners are the great saviors and are gonna save the world. That's why I went to planning school and probably why many of you did as well. But it takes a team, right? It takes engineers, it takes economists, it takes community activists, it takes elected officials, neighborhood stakeholders. And so as I began my career, I was searching for where can I find that collection of people who are like-minded and similar interests and want to work collaboratively for a better future for all. And I found them at Mpact. It was called Railvolution then, but the heart and soul of what we were doing was still the same. It was about building livable communities through good investment in transportation. And thanks to the vision of one man, Congressman Earl Blumenauer, I had a place to go as a planner, and I had a place where my career could flourish with the careers of many others. And it was Earl's vision that created this opportunity. So I would like to share some remarks from Congressman Blumenauer, because the legacy he has left for all of us is unparalleled. And without his vision, we would all not be here today. And he was so devastated that he could not be here today with us, but he does have pressing business in Washington, D.C. And we all know the amount of work that needs to be done over the next weeks. And so he was kind enough to share his thoughts and remarks, which I'd like to share with you now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mpact 2024. I'm Congressman Earl Blumenauer of Oregon, and it is my pleasure to help you kick off Day 2 of the conference. If it were any other year, I would be with you in person, celebrating our collective effort to build livable communities, places where families are safe, healthy, and economically secure. Unfortunately, I have to be in Washington, D.C. During my time in Congress, however, Mpact has been a critical forum to gather, to trade ideas, to find inspiration, and remember why we do this work. As many of you know, I helped found this organization 3 decades ago, first as the Regional Rail Summit, and eventually as Railvolution, when I was the Portland Commissioner of Public Works. The goal was to engage and learn from Portland's successful innovation in housing, transportation, and land use policy. The city's early investments in light rail and streetcar, biking, walking, and land use served as a down payment for a livable community. I wanted to share the Portland story about the power of planning on the national stage. 30 years later, I'm extremely heartened that these planning and zoning policies are no longer experiment. They're mainstream, using simple, proven technologies and putting a premium on affordable housing and equity is mainstream in many communities across the country. What's most exciting is that after decades of fighting for resources, we've struck gold, unlocking unprecedented spending. And we have a president who believes in rebuilding and renewing America and spending that money. Just consider the growth of streetcar systems, the resurgence in biking and walking, the e-bike revolution, and the high water mark for federal transportation funding brought about by the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. This landmark legislation created a new $5 billion grant program to fund local Vision Zero projects. It increased federal funding for bike lanes and sidewalks by 70%. It authorized the largest federal transit investment in our nation's history. And it accelerated the transition to electric vehicles with $5 billion to build out a nationwide EV charging network. We should also celebrate the historic Inflation Reduction Act, the largest investment in clean energy in our history, including nearly $400 billion in green tax credits that will jumpstart the green energy economy and save Americans millions in their energy bills. The creation of 330 green jobs in the clean energy sector, and new regulations to hold polluters accountable. All of these gains were made in just the last few years. In Portland, we're celebrating nearly $500 million to support the Albina Vision Trust Reconnecting Communities project that will help repair some of the damage done to the city's historically black community in the wake of freeway construction. Yet, this room knows better than most that we cannot afford to relax our efforts. While we've made extraordinary progress, we face unique challenges in the aftermath of the long, slow, uneven recovery from the COVID crisis. The cries for racial justice still echo, and the climate crisis grows ever more acute, even as we have unprecedented federal resources and a very short timeline. The good news is that people are hungry for the vision you are offering. Rather than disconnection and fragmentation, you're building vibrant public spaces. In a time of economic insecurity, you're showcasing the power of public investment and connecting people to that opportunity. We must remain laser focused on getting as much across the finish line as possible, using our tools to build a low carbon, equitable future, and expanding on our progress and our coalition. Your vision is needed now more than ever. And I have total faith that the leaders in this room will continue to be successful in making it a reality. I'm not done yet. I look forward to making the most out of 114 days left in Congress and then continuing to be your partner in this important work for the years ahead.
An amazing man who changed the trajectory of so many communities and made many of the things that we think of today as mainstream, such as transit-oriented development, light rail, street cars, active transportation. All of that was just a nascent idea when he founded Mpact. So thanks to his vision, thanks to your commitment, we can all make a difference.